Ladies and gentlemen, the weekend is upon us, and that means we've got another 5 random camps to show you. Now, these ones haven't been submitted to me. These are quite simply some awesome builds that my good friends Silver Bunny and Daehla have found while smooching around the Wasteland. So without further ado, let's take a look at them. Right, so the first one we've got here is the Temple by Tis of Daehla, and that name rings a bell. I'm sure I know this guy, I can't remember where from. Anyhow, stalky behaviours aside, this actually looks really smart. I have seen a lot of this kind of build being done using the Palace of the Winding Path kit, but this is properly well executed, this one. It's up there with the best I've seen. Now, obviously, we've got the mad circular shape. I don't know the correct frigging term for it. Multi-sided bleeding shape. And that in itself is not a simple thing to do. I've said it 62,000 times now on my videos. You get the gist of it. It's all blueprint work. Overall, I really do like the exterior of this thing. I like the little bowling balls that you've got as decoration as well. It's a nice touch, and I've not actually seen many people using the bowling balls for anything, let alone this. So yeah, fair play, mate. Now, to piss off people that are actually watching this video, the only thing that I would change about this is the foundations. Either change them to concrete or put some bloody underpinnings on it. But yeah, other than that, solid. So, interior-wise, this is grand. It feels like you're in the bloody Turkish baths on Titanic or something like that, and unlike the Turkish baths on Titanic, this is actually a nice place to be, not, 12,000 foot underneath the water. You know what, Tiz? This is mega. It's a really nice looking structure. I think the interior is my favourite bit of it, and it's massive as well, so I think you've done well on making it look full. Top job on this one, pal. It's definitely one of the most grandiose buildings I've ever seen in Fallout. Next up, we have Dribble Dynamics by Shock, and I'm going to be straight up with you now. I have never stepped foot on a basketball court. I know absolutely fuck all about it. My closest interaction with it is Buddy Space Jam in 90s. However, with all that being said, I don't care how accurate this thing is, right? It just looks bloody awesome. I love this thing. The shape of the stands is incredible. I've tried making arenas before, and let me tell you, something as simple as a stand, it can pose a challenge for some bloody unknown reason. However, Shock has absolutely smashed it. I love the colour choice as well. It really does stand out, this. It's like some bloody... It looks like it's from a 50s kitchen, doesn't it? Now, unfortunately, we don't actually get to see much of the... backstage area, I guess, changing rooms and that kind of stuff. And I've just realised how creepy that sounds once I've said it. We'll just gloss over that. What I'm trying to say is, it would have been nice to have seen a little bit more to this build other than the court, but that in itself is a cool ass structure. So yeah, you've done a cracking job on this one, Shock. Okay then, so the third camp is by Serial Vapor, and it is called the Smug Ground, and this looks immersive and it looks a little bit scrappy, so right up my street. Let's have a ganders. Yep, this thing is rougher than a bear's arse. I love it. We've got to be honest with ourselves, haven't we, right? If you were building a camp in a post-apocalyptic wasteland, unless you were going in like a pre-existing building, the thing you're going to put together is going to be shit. There's no two ways about it. I mean, for Christ's sake, if you look at some of today's architecture that these builders throw up, they look like shit as well, so God knows what some traumatised moron with a hammer and nails could manage in a hellscape like Fallout. What I'm trying to say is, mon petit fleurs, immersive builds capture the vibe of the game more than any other, in my opinion, especially a big ginormous bleeding water slide. And that's why I love looking at them, especially well put together ones like Serial Vapor's done here. This thing is fantastic. It's got the walls which you'd expect in, a nuclear apocalypse. There's a lot of hostile groups in the Wasteland determined to take over every single aspect of it, so walls is indeed a good idea. I think what really makes Vapor's build stand out though is the decoration. It is perfectly done. It's got the scrappy vibe about it. There's shit everywhere. It looks like a pensioner's mantelpiece. It's perfect. Honestly, my friend, you have nailed the decor on this. I think this is probably one of the best that I've seen, just out randomly in the Wasteland. Aye, top marks on this one, and thank you for letting Bunny, film this and feature it on the channel. Oh, and I've just noticed a little conduit light rail you've made as well. Yep, 10 out of 10. Next up, we have the Martis Funeral Home by Pew Pew, you're dead, oh four. I seriously have no idea what the fuck that was. I do apologise. ADHD is on top form today. Random and impulsive noises aside, this thing is a rather cool looking build, and I like how small it is as well. That's exactly what my wife says too. I'm a fan of the name, I must say. Is it supposed to be Rigor Mortis or Rico Morty? I've never watched Rick and Morty either, so please, just ignore my ignorance on this one. I can't stand the fucking granddad, he drives me insane. So yeah, what I'm trying to say is, if this is something from the show, or it's just a play on words, I have no idea, so I do apologise for that. All I know is, it's a cool looking camp. The White Spring set actually fits in really nicely with the contemporary porch set. Never thought that'd be a good mix, but here it is, right in front of you. Alright, what's Bob on that does? Now, it is a simple structure. There's nothing too fancy about it whatsoever. Really easily put together. However, despite that fact, I think it works, Not every structure has to be as technical as friggin' origami. Sometimes the nice, simple, underplayed stuff is a good way to go. And this is a perfect example of it, guys. Another thing I'm a massive fan of is the location choice for this. Correct me if I'm wrong, I do believe this is the pre-existing graveyard in the forest area. I should know this for a fact, but as one commenter said, it could be ideal if I tried, actually researching things, but I'm not a fucking oracle, I don't know everything about the game, and shit leaves my memory. Yeah, I do apologise. Now, as well as an awesome exterior and good choice in camp location, the inside of it's been really well put together too. Literally, no complaints about it. It's very clean, as you would expect. You wouldn't have grandma's ashes just scattered all over the floor in a pile, would you? Or maybe you would, I've seen weirder things happen. Yeah, nice job on interior, mate. Now, I think my favourite part about this whole entire build, though, is the stuff you've done in the shelter. I can't remember the bloody name of that shelter. What is it, the root cellar? Again, I should do more research. I won't mind, I own the bloody thing. But anyway, I digress. Yeah, I love the little crypt kind of thing you've got going down here. That is a really, really nice looking shelter, that is. Proper Victorian vibes about it. Which literally have nothing to do with the build, but I think it just looks cool. It's a nice effect. Pew pew, absolutely awesome camp. Fair play to you, pal. Now for our fifth and final build, the Atomic Burger by Captain Cook 1. Yeah. And bro, with a name like that, why you didn't call this Los Polos Hermanos, I have no idea, but no, I like Atomic Burger. First things first, I love the design of this build. I've always had a thing for like diners / restaurants. This kind of thing is what I'm trying to say. When they're done properly, they look really cool, and Captain Cook has done a fantastic job with this. And there's quite a few complicated bits as well. The main one being them half-sized half walls. I think the best way is to describe it. I have not seen many people doing that on diners, but I think without it, it doesn't look as convincing, if that makes any sense. No, it doesn't, but I know what I'm saying, so... Another rather cool little feature we've got going down is the drive-through that Captain has made as well. Again, a nice touch. And not something you see a lot of people are doing. Yeah, you see diners scattered around Wasteland. Well, you don't as much these days. You did see a lot of diners scattered across the Wasteland, but not many with drive-thrus. So the interior is an extremely violent shade of red. I mean, you don't expect anything less with Nuka-Cola stuff, do you? It's very flamboyant, and it does catch your eye. I mean, it does more than catch your eye. It burns out your feckin' retinas with how bright it is, but that's all part of the diner vibe, and personally, I think it looks bloody fantastic. Now, that kitchen area is epic. I think that's one of the best I've ever seen. I love the merge glitches you've got going down, especially using the shelves as like, is it like a cooker hood or something like that? I don't know, I very rarely step foot in kitchen. Either way, it looks bloody awesome, and overall, the decor looks fantastic as well. You've not skimped on it, you've spent time on it, which is a nice thing to see. I mean, a lot of us are guilty of it, we do a really nice looking camp on the exterior, but we tend to be a little bit lazy on the interior of it. But Captain, this is obviously not the case with your build. Overall, mate, I think you've done a really good job with this camp. And another little feature which this has got, and it's dead simple, but I found it quite amusing. You can turn the lights off. Now, I know it's not groundbreaking, but I thought it were a nice touch. Anyhow, that wraps it up, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and a massive thank you to Silver Bunny and Daehla for actually doing all the legwork on these. Like I say, I do nothing. I just talk shite over the top of it. There's links to both the channels down in the description, and they deserve so many more subs and views than they have, so please, head on over there and show them some love.